Order the regular meeting of the Board of Election Commissioners for the City of Chicago. Good morning, all. My name is Langdon Neal. I'm chairman. I'm joined by, to my left, Marisol Hernandez, and Richard Cowan has joined us by phone this morning. We will call first the organizational meeting of the board for appointment of officers of the board and adoption of bylaws. So first item on the agenda is the selection of chairman of the Chicago Board of Elections. Are there any nominations?
Well, I have been sitting out here in the sunshine giving this a great deal of thought, and I don't think we could have a better chairman than Langdon Neal, so I'm pleased to nominate him for another term, another sentence as chairman.
Thank you very much, Richard. I appreciate it very much.
And I resoundingly second the nomination. We definitely couldn't have a better chairman.
Well, thank you, Marisol, and thank you, Richard. I appreciate your confidence and your support. It is truly a team effort, and I couldn't do this job as chairman without the two of you. And I'd like to say we may not always agree, but we're always agreeable and respect and have ultimate respect for each other, and that's why I think we work so well together.
I agree.
Okay, I humbly accept the motion by Commissioner Cowan and second by Commissioner Hernandez to elect Langdon Neal as chairman. No further comment. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? No one here opposes. So thank you very much. That'll be the order. We'll move now to the selection of secretary of the Chicago Board of Elections. Any nominations for that office?
Yeah, I would like to nominate Marisol Hernandez. I've had the position for a number of years, but obviously because of health reasons and questions as to how many meetings I am able to attend in person, I think it's better to have a change at this point. Maybe for those reasons, and also just, a new person in the position. I hope that Marisol will use Mary Ann's services. She has been tremendous in getting drafts to me, but that's going to be, of course, her choice. So I nominate Marisol Hernandez as secretary.
Well, I also enthusiastically second that nomination. We'll miss you in that role, Commissioner, but we appreciate all that you've done to keep our records accurate and the commitment that you make to do that. So,
And I just want to thank Richard for his vote of confidence. And Richard, I'll be borrowing your quill. So I can continue in the same great tradition.
Good.
all right. Well, it's been moved and properly seconded. I'll call the motion to a vote. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. That'll be the order. Congratulations, Commissioner Hernandez.
Thank you.
All righty. I know, Richard, you've had plenty of opportunity to review the bylaws of the Board of Elections. I'm informed by, or we are informed by our General Counsel, Mr. Scanlon, that there have been no amendments, additions, or revisions to the bylaws. Is that correct?
That is correct, Mr. Chairman.
All right. If we're ready, we can I'll accept a motion to approve and adopt the bylaws.
Motion to approve and adopt the bylaws.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Hernandez, seconded by Commissioner Cowan. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
The bylaws are
Aye.
approved. Anything else we need to do, Mr. Scanlon?
No, Mr. Chairman, that's it.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn?
Moved to adjourn the organizational meeting. I'll second. Anything else, Mr. Scanlon? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
That'll be the order.
Aye.
Okay, we adjourn the organizational meeting. We'll call to order the regular meeting of the Chicago Board of Election Commissioners for Tuesday, March 19th, 2015. First item on the agenda is the consideration of the agenda. Any additions, deletions? For the record, none. We'll then move for the approval of the minutes. We have minutes for February 10th, 2015, February 24th, 2015, and the Canvas Board meeting of February 24th, 2015. Is there a motion, an omnibus motion, to approve the minutes of all three meetings?
So moved?
Moved by Commissioner Hernandez.
I know that I was not at the meeting on Election Day.
That's right, so I'll second.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
That'll be the order. Executive Director's report, Mr. Goff.
Yes. Mr. Chairman, as you know, we've lost somebody who's been working for this agency for many, many, many years. Reverend Willie Barrow, she has passed away. One of her wakes is tonight. There are a couple of visitations. I've been asked by Push to attend all of them, and I will attend all of them on behalf of the board.
Well, Willie Barrow was a great leader, trailblazer, a pioneer, and a leader in voter rights and voter engagement. And certainly she helped shape this agency to the agency that it is today, and always advance the rights of voters for participation and civil rights under the law. So we'll just have a moment maybe of silence for Willie Barrow. Thank you all. God rest her soul. Okay. Anything else, Mr. Goff?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Okay, upcoming election, we know that the absentee department has already processed over 18,000 ballots that are being mailed out, not including early voting. We've done some. We've done grace period registration, armed forces, overseas. They've done a real good job, and they're on top of it, so I want to let you know that. Very pleased with that. We do have an issue, though, that I would like the board members to be aware of. You know, because of Passover, Easter, and spring break has impacted this agency. We have approximately 16 synagogues that we thought were all going to close, but some of the locations, some of the areas in the synagogues, they'll let us use their, I don't want to say their conference rooms and stuff that are not actually in the synagogue. So that has taken some of the load off of us. But the other problem is we have private schools. We have over 50 private schools that we're trying to figure out how we're going to get into. We're talking to the administrators where we're going to use the custodians to let us in so we can make our deliveries. But this is going to be difficult along with the public schools. It's something we talked about.
Yes.
When this calendar was planned, it did not take into consideration that of these problems. We also spoke to the county. They're having the same issues of when we can deliver the equipment.
Anticipating, you know, the early morning of Election Day, is there any way that, I mean, we could get possibly in some of these schools keys or investigators to pick up engineers, any way to?
Believe it or not, in those days that we're using the school, we have the engineer there.
Okay.
So the engineer will be there for those days. I mean,
They
on
don't
election
usually
day.
start at 5 in the morning.
Yes, they do.
They do?
They do.
Okay.
They
All
will
right.
be there to let our
Okay.
judges in the morning. And we also have, the Board of Ed has their security team that will be out on the street for us also if there's any
great.
issues.
Great.
So we're going to send follow-up letters to them, but it's something that we've been in contact with now.
Okay.
Is there a possibility maybe we could ask for their cell phone numbers?
Valerie Irons and Polling Place is already working on that,
Good.
so we can
Okay.
get in contact with them directly.
Just in case.
Because they will not be, if they're not in their room, in their office, how are you going to get in touch with them? So we've asked for their cell phones. So it's something that's being worked on. We're also having issues with the churches because That's the start of the Holy Weekend.
Yes.
And some of the, St. Pat's called us up. They're having construction going on in the 3rd Ward, and they're saying we can't deliver the equipment. We have to deliver it. Somebody will be there to accept it on Monday, and they will have somebody come in on Tuesday to open up. But we're actually sent letters to all these locations. We're actually talking to the proprietors or the people that are in charge. So I just wanted you to be aware. But this is tying up this agency, just
Yes,
to let
no,
you
I
know
know.
that.
I know.
The places, the synagogues that are letting us use the other rooms, there is an issue about bringing only kosher food in, and I'm working with each one of them separately to work that out. There's a couple of catering services that I know that are kosher, and it's going to be an issue.
Okay.
So I just wanted the board members to be aware of that.
So not all the synagogues?
Not
have
all the
turned us down?
synagogues have turned us down because there are
Okay.
other areas that are outside of their holy area that we have our polling places.
Okay. All right.
So I'm very pleased that we've gotten as much cooperation with all of them, so.
That's great.
And the elected officials in all those areas have helped us giving alternate sites, so I think we'll be okay. In fact, we'll be sending letters to everybody, let them know any places that have been moved. But, so,
All right, great.
just wanted to give the board members a head up that this is a little bit more difficult than we've had the last election.
Okay. Kelly, anything for us?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
I can't say any more about our staff than just they're fantastic. Turning everything around so quickly in such a
Yes.
short amount of time. Start with the warehouse, cleaning out the ESCs and equipment and everything, and then flipping around and starting pre-lat. We'll be finished with pre-lat by the weekend. ESCs start leaving on Monday, and that is fantastic.
Yeah.
Registration, just, going from provisional to other post-election activities, straight into close of registration and
Yeah.
getting all the registration cards in and closing the files so that we could, run the data file for the e-poll books and the pre-printed applications, and everyone's just kicking it into gear and doing what they do. Absentee, the numbers for absentees are up.
Yes.
Just, Judge's Department sending out the letters asking them about coming back and filling vacancies where needed. Everyone's just, it's looking real good.
Okay, well, kudos to the staff for sure. Okay, Mr. Allen.
Chairman, Commissioner, to echo briefly what Kelly said about registration department, they've been going nonstop essentially since early October with all of these different projects related to the November election and rolling right into this election. The petition checks, everything, they've been nonstop, and I've been talking with some of the workers there, and they know that they've been putting in all of these hours, and they're looking forward to some kind of rest after, not just April 7th, but of course the provisional ballots from April 7th.
Right.
And so, tip of the cap there. Also, the online absentee application, the new manager for absentee, Steve Slicky, he deserves a lot of credit, and as well as our translation team and our web service. They put together a very streamlined system, and it's much more easier to use, and we're seeing much more use of that system. Many fewer phone calls, even though we have much more higher use of the system. Going back to what Mr. Goff referenced on the polling place changes, the 3 ways that we're going to communicate included, we mentioned the letters. We're also going to post signage at the old polling place, indicating where the new polling place is. We're going to have a special supplement in our press kits and in the legal ads that we buy for the polling places to include a list of, these are the specific precincts that changed since February.
Yeah.
So we'll try to cover all of our bases, but we know there'll be a few people who might show up at their previous polling places. Early voting, the ads have already begun running in English, Spanish, Chinese, Hindi, Polish publications. So a lot of questions about early voting, and I don't think it's going to take any kind of major announcement. I think a simple press release and everything. Lastly, we had a very special occasion yesterday. A young woman whose birthday was yesterday, turned 102. She became a U.S. citizen. She's originally from Spain, and she was accompanied by her daughter, her grandson, 3 great-grandchildren, and she came in immediately after becoming a U.S. citizen. She came straight from the federal building to the Chicago Election Board. There were TV cameras here, seeing that she registered to vote and cast her ballot, and her family asked her, why do you need to get it done today? And she says, you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. So, hopefully it sends a message, especially to some of our younger voters who can't seem to be burdened with the rigors of voter registration, that if you're 102 and you can take care of it on the first chance you get, maybe it's your turn.
Good.
And
That's very
that's
nice.
it.
Excellent. Any other questions for Mr. Allen?
Just real quick, briefly,
Yes.
Chairman, all the equipment for early vote will start going out of the warehouse and be delivered on Friday. We're going to start setting up and getting everything ready for the first day on Mondays.
Okay. Great. Okay, we'll move. We don't have anything under any new infrastructure projects.
No.
We're dealing with our existing infrastructure and the pressure on it.
Yes.
2 elections in 6 weeks. Electronic poll books, I take that they will have the same process out for this election. Excellent. Voting equipment. Paige, do you have anything for us today?
Hello? No, nothing really. We've got about 6 boards left.
Hmm.
It's going very well. Dominion staff has been working with city staff to help turn the equipment around and get everything ready, so it's good.
Good.
Change.
Excellent. Thank you, Paige. Legislation. I don't think we have anything, Mr. Scanlon, to talk about.
Well, I sent some memos out on legislation already filed. There's been a couple of bills filed within the last 2 days. I'll probably get something out to the commissioners on that today or tomorrow.
Okay, great. All righty, we have under new business 2 judges that we are proposing to remove from service of the board. Joan, you have leading this charge?
I will.
Okay.
The first one is Dorothy Elrod. She was a judge on Election Day who had, although we sent out investigators several times because there were complaints regarding the smell of alcohol, she actually left at lunchtime. She was supposed to be gone an hour and didn't return until 7 p.m. that night. So when she returned, one of the judges asked where she had been, and she let them know she had been arrested. And then when one of the investigators started asking her about it, she just fled the scene. So we're asking that she be removed. And the second one is Carlton Harris. Very disturbingly, he was at the receiving station, growing impatient, started using profanity toward board staff. We also found out when he had signed off as returning all of the voting materials, he also had signed on behalf of another judge who was not present. Neither of them will be paid for that. And then finally, when he was questioned about staying calm, he used a sexual orientation slur toward probably one of the calmest employees we have here. So we're asking that both Ms. Elrod and Mr. Harris be removed as judges of election.
Okay.
Motion to remove
I'll
both.
second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye.
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 We have 2 contracts for attorneys. Mr. Scanlon?
Mr. Chairman, the first contract in your book is with Green and Letts. This is for the purpose of representing the board and Patty Batista in a matter filed in the Circuit Court of Cook County by Dorian and Nicholas Marickis. The attorneys would be compensated, the partners would be compensated at a rate of $250 per hour, associates at $200 per hour, and paralegals at $85 per hour. And the term of the contract will be retroactive to November 1, 2014, and shall expire on October 31, 2015. And we ask your approval.
Motion to approve?
I'll second. Further discussion? Hearing none. All's in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
And the second attorney contractor agreement is with Dykema Gossett PLLC for purposes of representation of the board in the matter Malibu Media LLC versus John Doe. The attorneys would be compensated at a rate of $295 per hour plus expenses, and the contract would be retroactive to September 1, 2014, and shall expire on August 31, 2015, and I would ask your approval.
Motion to approve?
I'll second. Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
All righty. Moving right into your report, Mr. Scanlon.
And before I get into that, I just want to ask Commissioner Cowan if I have your approval to affix your signature on the attorney contractor agreements as well as on the orders removing the 2 judges of election.
Yes, you do.
Thank you, Commissioner. With regard to the legal report, I really don't have much to report at this time. We do have a matter in federal court. Vincent Rose, who was a candidate in the 7th Ward, responses to a motion for a preliminary injunction were filed with the court this past Tuesday, March 17th, and there is a status report or status hearing on March 30th, at which time I expect the court will rule. We also filed motions to dismiss that will be briefed, fully briefed by April 2nd. So that's where we are with respect to that. And that's all I have to report at this time.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Scanlon. All right, we have a financial report. We have a financial report from the City of Chicago, voucher 15-02, dated March 19th, 2015, in the amount of $4,510,453.95. $4,510,453.95. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Moved by Commissioner Hernandez, seconded by Commissioner Cowan. Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
That'll be the order. All righty, we'll move to the public comment section. Okay, don't all raise your hands at once. Okay, great. We have no public comment. Is there a need for an executive session today, Mr. Scanlon?
No, Mr.
All right.
Chairman.
Then I will accept a motion to adjourn till our next regularly scheduled meeting, which is on the 24th of, that would be Tuesday. I don't think we need that, do we?
I do not think we need that meeting, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so shall we make our next meeting, why don't we make it Tuesday the 31st?
Do that.
Does that make sense? So the 24th will be next.
That'll be the last week of early voting,
Chairman Kemp, instead of...
Let's just say
doing it now,
further
can
call
we
of the
wait?
chair. Yeah, okay, we'll make it till further call of the chair. Okay, thank you. All right, all those in favor? To adjourn? Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, all right. Seconded by Commissioner Cowan. All those in favor?
Aye.
That'll be the order. Thank you, Commissioner.